Hello and welcome back to another Reality Check VR video. We've got to embrace it because it's not going anywhere. That's right, AI is awesome. In today's world, you can use AI to deepfake faces with only one photo. You can even
clone voices like this right here with open source software. That's right. I know you like this. Enough.
We've all seen that crazy Deforum effect that people are doing on social media, and even more recently, that runway stylization that looks really cool. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's even cooler than all of that. That's right, Stable Diffusion has released their 1.0 model, and if you haven't jumped into their previous Stable Diffusion models, or if you haven't gotten into AI image generation yet, now is the time, because it's easier than ever, and I'm going to run you through the quick steps to get you started. Let's go. So as we jump over here onto Reddit, we can see just a few hours ago, it's been less than a day that this came out. And of course, 0.9 was available for a while, but we're not going to get into that. As you can see, this new 1.0 has the highest quality text-to-image model yet. It gives you the freedom of expression to pretty much have all kinds of artistic styles, so don't feel bogged down. Feel free to give it very complex prompts, see what you can get back from it. It is very intellectual, and so far, I haven't found the limit to what it can actually do just yet. It is more accurate than previous models, and of course, has a lot of flexibility. So if you want to get this model and you want to get it started for yourself so you can start creating some things, let's get started. But before we do that, I want to show you just real quickly some of the images that I've created with Stable Diffusion SDXL since I started with it. And these are just a few quick images that I created using fast prompts. Some are better than others. And of course, I just am so impressed with the quality of these right now. We know as soon as we start training these with other models and the community starts putting more and more of their own models out there on these other websites, it's going to get amazing. And of course, it's just so cool to see what it can do right now. And you can see there's quite a variety. Yeah, that one's pretty cool. All right, so UFOs. All right, here we go. So to get these things going, if you want to be able to make images yourself, and this is great for any marketer, any person who's into creating their own brand that wants to just make their own social media pictures from scratch, there's just so many different things that you can do with this. Okay, so I'm gonna make these steps as simple as possible. Do not get overwhelmed. I promise this is very, very easy and anybody can do it. There's a couple of different methods, so if you don't have even a GPU, you can do this with even a CPU. It's of course gonna be a lot slower, but you can still get it done. Anyway, I'm going to have all the links in the description so you can follow along with me and do everything very, very simply. All right, so right here, we're going to jump into the main scene. First, we're going to go into the GitHub of ComfyUI. If in the past you've tried to install things like A1111 to use Stable Diffusion, that's a lot more technicality. This is going to be very, very simple. So once you get to the ComfyUI GitHub page, we're going to scroll down until we see a little link here that says direct link to download. And it says simply download, extract with 7-zip and run. You don't actually have to have 7-zip. You can use things like WinRAR, or if you have some other kind of extraction program, it'll probably work. If it doesn't, 7-zip is free and it does work. So first you click the direct link to download button and it's going to actually go down here on your computer. And you can see it says 1.4 gigabytes, 4 minutes for me. Okay, so once that's done downloading, you're going to extract it, preferably somewhere on your main drive. For me, I've got a folder called AI Master, and inside that folder, I've extracted it. And right here, we have all of the inside contents. And from here, if you see, I click into ComfyUI, we have a folder called Models, and that's where you're going to put all of the models that you're going to be downloading. And then we have an output folder, and that's of course where all the pictures that you prompt are going to be output as soon as they actually get finished rendering. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on models right here, and inside here we have the LoRa's, which is where you'll put your LoRa's, and then up here you have a little spot called checkpoints, and that is where you're going to actually put inside the models. And that's what we need now. We need the models. So let's go ahead and click on the other links that I have also listed below. Inside there is Stable Diffusion XL Base 1.0 and Stable Diffusion XL Refiner 1.0. So for each of these pages, they're very simple. You can just go right in here and download the SDXL Refiner 1.0 safe tensors by just clicking on this button right here. Once you click on that, you're going to see it start downloading there in the bottom left. And then same thing over here, you're going to want to click on this 6.94 XL 1.0, and these can be updated. They might change their size, but you're going to want to go ahead and get the most recent one and make sure that they both match. And then there is a LoRa in here, so if you want to go ahead and experiment and play with that LoRa, you can also download the LoRa as well. So once you download each of these, you're going to go into your download folder, And let's go ahead and go in here. You're going to want to move those things into these areas. So if I go into checkpoints here, you can see that I actually have the 0.9 and the 1.0. The 0.9 are no longer needed because the 1.0 exists now. So actually I'm going to go ahead and delete those because I don't need them. And then over here inside the LoRa, as you can see, I have that experimental LoRa. I haven't actually played with it yet, but why not? Let's get it in there. Okay, so once you have your models inside the checkpoint, and they are both there, which it looks like each one 6 gigabytes, 5. It's going to be 11 gigabytes right there, or about 12 gigabytes just for the models. And then once that's done, we're going to go back here to the main folder for your ComfyUI. And if you have a GPU, you click on this one. If you have a CPU, you're going to click on this one. And just in case, it says very important, read me. Let's go ahead and read it, right? As it says here, if you have a GPU, run it with the GPU. CPU, okay, there you go. And then of course, if you have some errors, it's going to tell you why you might have such errors. But the last part that you're going to want here is I'm going to include this workflow.json file. What this is just going to give you the basic setup that was kind of floating around on the internet, and of course it's been tweaked here and there by a few different people, but I think there's going to be a new workflow, or this workflow needs to be updated. So I'm not exactly sure where this one originated from, but it was not from me. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and double click the run NVIDIA GPU, and before I do that, I need to close my old one. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and double click run NVIDIA GPU.bat, and it's going to go ahead and start up. And this might take a little while to download a few different things for you, especially if it's the first time that you've run it. But once it finishes downloading everything, it's going to open up a browser, and inside that browser is where the actual UI is going to be represented. And from there, you can put your prompts in, your negative prompts, and then do all your settings. So boom, there it goes. It sets up right in front of us. And yeah, here you go. If we go ahead and click clear, which is what yours is going to look like, you'll probably have nothing here. And when you go back to the file, we're going to go over to that workflow.json that I've got in the description, and we're going to drag and drop that right there. And once we do, it's going to give you right here, which is your refiner spot and a spot for your base, and then it's going to give you spaces for your image results. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and do a quick test image to make sure that everything's working. And in order for us to do that, we're going to first make sure our checkpoints are properly loaded. And we go right in here. If we see refiner here, it says XL Refiner 1.0, right? Real simple. And then down here it says loaded checkpoint base. So right in here we click base 1.0. Great, and it checks those from that checkpoint folder. Now in the negative prompt, you don't have to have anything in here. Anything in the negative prompt, if you're not familiar, these are things that you don't want in your photo. And sometimes you recognize what should be in there by seeing the things. So if you are trying to get a photo of somebody on the beach and all of a sudden a beach ball keeps popping up, but you don't want the beach ball, you can literally type beach ball in the negative prompt, and then you'll still get the beach without the beach balls, right? And then in the positive prompt, you're going to go ahead and write what you do want. And for this test, I'm going to go ahead and write award-winning photo, and I'll zoom in just so you guys can see it a little bit. Award-winning photo of an American bald eagle. No, we're going to switch that. That's what I did already. So an award-winning photo of, let's say, Elvis. And then it says 20 megapixels, 32K definition, fashion photography, ultra detailed, very beautiful, elegant. And we'll go ahead and keep all that stuff just because it's kind of generic. And then down here in the negative, we're basically keeping out anything that's kind of CGI, the semi-realistic stuff. We're trying to create realistic pictures with this negative prompt down here. And of course, keep rid of any of these other things. The beautiful thing about this new SDXL is that it actually has very, very good ability to do hands and text even, and faces are phenomenal so far. So just keep experimenting with it. And if we go down here, we can see we have our seed numbers. We have our CFG, which of course the higher number, it's going to be it's going to stick more to your prompt, and the lower the number, it's going to have more artistic freedom. And so go ahead and play around with those different things. And of course down here, same thing, you got your CFG and your steps for your sampler. So there's a whole bunch of different things that we can play with now that we have the refiner, because what it first does is it's going to create your image and put it without the refiner. Then it's going to put that image that it created and put it through a refinement, which is the other model, and then spit out a better version. This is kind of double doing what those previous image generators were doing before. So I'm going to go ahead and click Q prompt once I'm ready. I've got my positive prompt over here, my negative prompt in there, and because of it, I can go ahead and click the Q prompt button. And now we are ready to go. Okay, now keep in mind when you first hit that Q prompt button, it's going to take a few minutes to load everything. After the first image generation, things tend to be a little bit quicker. But even so, we're off to the races right now. Everything seems to be working. If you can look over here at the command, we can look in here. We can actually see that it has started going through everything and it is getting prepared. And if I actually bring in over here, let me bring in my. I use this thing called NZXT cam, and from here I can keep track of my CPU and my GPU and how they're running, as well as my top processes and how much RAM they're using. And right now you can see the Python is using 10.5 gigabytes, and it is climbing. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and speed up right now until we get the image in there, and I'll see you right in a second. Not bad. We've got an award-winning photo of Elvis right there. And I had to put Elvis the King because it actually made a photo of a car when I didn't do that, as you can see. Right there, it did that car. I don't know why, but then yeah, there's the Elvis. Not bad at all. So let's just try one more. And for this one, I want to go ahead and test out something that might be a little different. I'm gonna go ahead and actually look up what is the best prompt. All right, so I found one. It is a home with windows, doors, porches, awnings, middle of space, cyberpunk lights, hyper detail, 8K HD, octane rendering, Unreal Engine, V-Ray Full HD, S5000, whatever that means, uplight Q3, not sure, stop 80, okay, we're talking W0.5, aspect ratio 4. I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of the aspect ratio, and we'll just keep it right there, and go ahead and hit Q prompt, let's go. All right, and this one's done here, and let's go ahead and click open image, and wow, it's pretty darn good, except for this weird little floating door. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. You can see over here there's an interesting little glass floating door over there. Maybe it's just something I don't understand. But no, the rest of the house looks pretty cool here. Some like a California house. Okay, so as you can see, it's very easy to jump into ComfyUI and to start generating your own photos simply by just putting whatever prompt you can possibly think of right in there. And of course, the negative prompts, you decide what goes in there. If anything, you don't actually have to have a negative prompt to create an image, but you do need a positive prompt to start something. Obviously, if you do just put nothing in, let's go ahead and just put nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what if you put nothing in and you go ahead and hit the Q prompt button. Watch this. So that's just it. You get a secret map that tells you the location of all the UFO bases. That's what you end up getting when you type in no prompt. So feel free to play around with that. I'm gonna go ahead and put that just over there in case any of the top secret black suit people want to show up for that one. Anyway, we've got going right here is a very, very fun, simple, easy to use program. It's open source. It's free to use. Anybody can jump on and start playing with this right away. But before we did the house, we did Elvis. We did the cool Elvis car that you guys didn't quite see. And yeah, little things look great. There is this weird detail right there that's obviously not quite correct. But you know, for the rest of the car, it looks freaking amazing. And as we go through the UFOs, and then of course there's this very interesting, I like this one a lot. This one's really cool. The glass windows all the way around it looks super stylization. And then of course we go over here, skip through that one. We've got some Oppenheimer, that's right. Very topical. And what else is popular right now? Barbie and Ken. So I was just testing out to see how this modeled it. I mean, this model's amazing. It really did I mean, he's got the little joints right there, even on the Barbies. It's got the Barbie hair. You can see it looks just like Barbie hair. So it knows so many different styles so well. I'm very surprised with it. And then of course I typed in SpongeBob just to see how it would do with that. And yeah, here we go. But so one of these other things I wanted to show you guys is just to tease you. There are so many fun things you can do with these photos. For example, you know, I took these photos right here, and with these bald eagle photos, which I thought looked phenomenal, I sat there and upscaled them. And when you upscale these photos, it turns into something like this, right? I used Topaz Gigapixel, and with that, I was able to create some really, really amazing looking photos right there. And then, of course, if you get a photo like what I wanted to do is I don't have the ability to train this model yet for my face, right? So what I did is I just typed in long-haired guy, you know, long blonde-haired guy with a goatee, and it gave me this photo right here. And with this photo, I can use a very simple free-to-use program called Insight to Face, and I can swap it over to my face. So, hey, you know, I can instantly make an image of my face, really, really simple. So I've been able to do this, and with this kind of a process, we can actually do other cool things like you can turn yourself into a super sexy stud muffin, and then you can actually make it animated. And even though it looks a little bit weird right now, it's just amazing what you can do with this kind of technology. And so let's go ahead and try this with one of our other images that we have. For example, the bald eagle. I really like the bald eagle. Okay, so here we are in a software called Runway, and as you can see, runwayml.com right there for the app. And all you have to do right here is actually just drag an image into this thing called the text-to-image video, and click the generate button, and it will sit there and give you just a few seconds free for each user. If you want to pay for the software, then you get a lot more time. And of course, if you reach their limit, you have to upgrade and pay more money if you want more time. Right, let's see what's gonna happen. Go ahead and click the button now, and nothing. Nothing happens on that one. All right, let's try a different one. I think this UFO picture is pretty cool, and you know, generally if it shows some movement in the photo, it's going to be more likely to actually do something in the generation. So let's give this one a try. Okay, so as you can see, what it did was it made the UFO spin a little bit, and not only does it make the UFO spin a little bit, but then it like creates a little orb UFO down here going from inside the house to being absorbed to the other house. It's almost like it's going through the walls. Does it know something we don't know? All right, that one's pretty cool. All right, I'll do one more. Take a look at this one. It's just, oh, he's thinking. He's thinking, yeah, not a whole lot happens to these ones. It just gives them just a little bit of life to these. Just like a slow zoom in. Anyway, that's going to be the end of the video right now. I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. But yeah, there are so many different cool softwares available right now to us. And there's so many more things I want to share with you guys, so keep tuned to the channel, and I'm going to keep making videos. Of course, in the comments, let me know what you guys think of this stuff right here. If there are any things that are preventing you from getting started, let me know. Also, in the future, what you'd like to see. There are just a lot of fun things that are coming out every single day. So I really appreciate you guys for sticking through to the end of the video, and of course, if this gave you any help, please give it a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time.